dogs down the road there at
Oh, Nina? No.
the, well, he's husky, the doodle kind of.
Oh, yeah.
But there's the,
Our MSW tonnage rate is up to 84.
I
believe so, yes.
It's okay.
But you see that tendency in it too.
How does it get along with the dolphins?
Oh, boy, is he.
Was Steve out today?
No.
Yeah.
And they,
Oh, yeah,
He
they,
must be
they like,
ignoring.
They kind of play-
since we brought him as a pup,
He may,
he's grown up.
he
with them.
and I know the fire chief is out the rest of the week, and Steve
The big
may
brother,
be out too
Touchy
because of
Goat,
school
loves him.
vacation.
He lets,
I believe they
Touchy Goat
both
lets
get
him
kids
come
home.
on. But Little John, his brother, Touchy Goat's brother, is.
Actually, they may have had school vacation.
Scott is off this
I'm
week.
cool.
Yeah.
Vacation. Scott Nunn.
I'm keeping distance, he's very like, I don't trust that. So it's been fun, he's a riot. But yeah, he's like 65 pounds.
yeah, she's got a lot of
Great
company.
Pyrenees. So that other
Yes,
quarter,
yes.
he might have Great Pyrenees.
Greetings.
One quarter, he's split between the
Yeah.
husky and that thing, just whatever that is, and then the other half's a border collie, which is great mix.
Yeah.
He's all over the place, so good luck. So,
Good job. You're on the green card.
you know, and if I take Bella and either the transportation all the time, so yeah, he's into it.
That's what I
Hey,
made myself,
good to see you.
because I put the other
Pretty
stuff.
much.
Yes.
Because,
Ah,
you know, there's a PDF I got, I tried to shade, I got the boxes flashing.
We were married 40 years and we always had food.
You said you gave him that one.
And so she let me, because he looked at it.
He has the result.
All right, I'll let you. And now she let
The
me.
modified agenda I gave you apparently is missing the date and time.
I'm like, I'm always like.
Because I personally modified it and did not have the assistant
He's up.
town administrator
no,
modify it.
that's not the.
Just the
No,
one
no,
I
no,
had
she-
is
yeah.
saying the date and time.
She seems very happy to kind of show me.
You're
Oh,
gonna be
yes.
irritated.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start doing this again.
All right, yeah, talk to you later. Thanks.
It's 6 o'clock in the lovely town of Lee, April 28th, 2025. The second millennial. Anything else you need? Okay.
Year of our Lord.
Is what?
The year of our Lord.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Well, yeah. Public comment. If anybody has a comment, please come to the podium, state your name and address, limit your comments to 3 minutes, and address your comments to the board, not the audience. No takers? Okay. Next up, appointments. Mr. Jeans.
Okay. Do it real quick, very quick.
Great to see you. My name's Ben Jeans, lead treasurer and 43 North River Road. So I'm here to ask the board to appoint Tang Ha. And we've met. He's got a great background in finance, business. We had a good meeting where I kind of walked him through everything about what's going on with the finances of the town, working with the board, working with the town office, Andy's group and the finance team. Got to meet some of those folks. And the other big thing, probably the most important thing, is he'd like to give back to the town. So I told him that's probably the most important thing that we value in our volunteers are people that want to contribute to the town and help the town. So I hope that the board agrees with me and appoints him. Thanks.
Any questions?
I'm good.
No questions?
Does does he just need to go to the town office to do the swearing in with the town clerk?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Town clerk, if she's not around, I can do it.
Justice of the peace.
So also, he needs to be a signer on the accounts as well?
Yes. And that, I'll give you the update now instead of under miscellaneous. I have to get you to approve the minutes for the signature cards for the board. I have the minutes. TD Bank would not accept them until they have been approved by the board and signed, so. And I will do the same for the deputy treasurer.
So do I need to make a motion to include?
If you can make a motion to.
Yeah.
To appoint.
So I move to appoint Tong Ha to the deputy treasurer position effective immediately. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? No? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Now you're
Congratulations.
stuck.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thanks. I did talk to the bank today, they were in, and we'll get all that worked out with them,
Okay.
so they're excited to hear it.
Thank you.
How's that?
Yep.
Regular business, Andy?
Yeah, the first order of business I had was to present a request from DPW Director Steve Bullock. He would like to do as they did last year and change the highway department hours to 4 10-hour shifts starting at 6:30 a.m. As I think was noted in the preliminary information you received, he intends to have one employee on Friday. And I did double check that it would only be one employee, but that is a request from Stephen.
So will that one employee Friday rotate between the?
My understanding is that it would. I think last year it more typically ended up being Peter Hoyt, but
Okay.
there was some rotation.
And we've solved the whole overtime issue. That seemed to be a problem last time, I think, wasn't it?
I believe that there is no overtime issue at this point.
Okay. There was some, I don't remember exactly, but there was some discussion about how overtime was applied or something.
Yeah, and we made 2 policy changes to sort of circumvent the
Okay.
problems we had.
Good. Any questions?
I got a couple of justification. Why?
I know that one of the reasons that I had discussed with Steve last year was that particularly when they were paving, it worked well because the pavers typically pave until the job is done, and they would frequently go past 8 hours, so if they had a 10-hour shift on paving days, it helped eliminate overtime. But other than that, I don't have much to add.
Okay. And I talked to the town administrator today just to ensure that the person working on Friday doesn't really do any heavy type of, diggings or things, because safety issues.
Because they're working alone? Yeah.
Yeah, because they're working alone.
Yeah,
So I just
we
wanna
don't
make
want them dropping trees or in a
Exactly, at this
trench.
point. Because the rest of the time, there will always be 2 people on staff at least at that point, so. That's it.
Any other questions? Dave, anything? No? All set? So I move to grant the Public Works Director to implement a summer work schedule for the Highway Department employees, including the Director. Said schedule to start on May 2nd, 2025, and end on September 5th, 2025, and will incorporate the following rules. At least one employee will work on Fridays from 6:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. There will be full coverage on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 6:30 to 4:30. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? No? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, I did go through the procedure for requesting a special town meeting. I think I mentioned at the last meeting, the municipal legal counsel that I've been relying on has changed firms and is no longer doing municipal law. I reached out to Drummond Woodsum, which is a large municipal law firm in New Hampshire. Works cooperatively on a lot of things with Primex and with the New Hampshire Municipal Association. Steve Whitley is making arrangements for us to petition the Stratford Regional Court. He'll prepare the complaint that we'll forward. That will probably happen in the next 2 weeks. Get it in as fast as we could. I've drawn up a list of reasons as to why this is an emergency, why it's critical that we act, and we will present it to the court. I can't imagine that with regard to a fire truck and the fact that it is 50% of our attack force, that they're going to deny us permission for a special meeting. We also have to notify DRA, which I will do under Steve's direction. Move forward with that.
Has Chief Nemeth found a demo yet?
He has not.
So in terms of, speak to me about timing. So let's say we do this, the court grants it, they set a hearing date, we don't have any information. So do we request a delay, or how does that work?
My understanding is that we can ask for, up to a specified amount, up to a specified time. But I've not seen the specific language yet from Mr. Whitley, though.
Okay. That's my only concern, that we get a court date,
Of course.
and we have no information in terms of to present to people. We don't know, if we can find a truck, we know how much it's gonna be. And the court says, oh, too bad, you lost it, you just spent $3,000 for nothing.
Most of the time limits information that I'm familiar with is in forewarning the town, not necessarily the other side of the equation. As soon as you make a motion that you want to move forward, and I have a formal motion in the agenda, when you make that formal motion that you want to move forward, I have to post notice of your motion within 24 hours, and then we have to give at least 10 days free and clear notice to the actual special meeting, that type of thing. But pretty much all the time constraints are on the front end, making sure you properly warn the town.
Okay. If we pass this, or if we don't, can you find out from the legal people you talked
Yes.
to in terms of that scenario they went through? Because the chief might not find one for 2-3 months. And
Right.
will the court wait, or so?
And I had discussed that with Stephen when we first started talking.
Okay.
It'll take me a few days because he is on school vacation. His children this week.
Everybody's in school.
He's not on school vacation.
His children are on school vacation under his,
I guess that's all I'm saying.
Any questions for Andy? No. Okay. I move to petition the Stratford Superior Court for permission to hold a special town meeting due to an emergency situation created by the sudden and unexpected mechanical failure of fire engine number 2, a piece of fire apparatus deemed essential to the safety of Lee residents and their property, and also to surrounding towns. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Any discussion? No? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hey.
Aye. Motion passes.
couple of things under miscellaneous, both related to Madberry. I spoke with Eric Figgenbaum after the last meeting regarding a contract for trash removal, and he's the town administrator in Madberry. I didn't hear back, so at the end of the week on Friday, I gave Eric a call and discovered that apparently the DPW people in Madberry were not aware that they had signed a contract through 2026 with, I believe it's Win Waste, for removal of their bulky waste and construction waste, and they would be in violation of the contract and face a financial penalty if they allowed us to haul that trash. So that's on hold right now. Eric is trying to see if he can get Win Waste to break the contract, let them break the contract, but he had nothing conclusive before tonight's meeting, so that's sort of in limbo. The other thing I wanted to mention, I had just briefly mentioned at the last meeting that there is some joint work behind the scenes in preparation for a potential joint fire district with Madberry, Barrington, and Lee. All three chiefs have been involved, and this time, Connor, the town administrator in Barrington, is sort of acting as the facilitator for the group. He had all the local chiefs in Barrington recently for a hiring board when they were looking for a fire chief. As of right now, we're potentially looking at having a joint meeting in Madbury on June 16th, which looks to be a date that avoids all three towns' select board meetings. But the purpose is just to see if there's interest, make sure everyone's on the same page. I think the ultimate goal here would be to put a regional fire district question on the 2026 warrants in March. And what that would look like is anyone's guess at this point. Madbury is in relatively dire straits with regard to manpower and their fire department. Is interested in anyone that's interested in cooperating with them, is my understanding. Barrington is in a little bit of an awkward place right now. They are trying to find a new fire chief. They have not been able to do so. After their most recent hiring search, they decided not to make an offer to anybody and are apparently going to wait till the end of this year before they reopen their search. But if it's possible, I will, as soon as I've got that in concrete, I'll let you know. But June 16th looks like the date that we're looking to have a,
What day of the week is it?
I think
It's a
either a
Monday.
Monday or a Wednesday.
Should be a Monday.
Yeah,
Really?
it's a Monday. It was an interim Monday that
It's the day
the
after
towns had
Father's
select
Day.
board meetings scheduled for.
So did we already haul something from Madbury?
We did.
Will we be paid for that, or?
We will be paid for that, although I have not received the billing information yet from DPW, and I will
Okay.
give them a nudge.
Anything else?
The first time, and I think it's going to be more than the amount we discussed, because our employee ended up spending close to an hour on site
Really?
breaking ice to get the container off the ground. So it was well frozen in when he arrived to pick it up with the truck, so.
Jeez. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Andy?
I've got some legal things, but I'll mention those in non-public under
Okay.
L.
Did we get a check from Lamprey River yet for the plaque, the rest of the?
That I do not know. I,
It should be like 1,900 and some odd dollars.
yeah, I have not seen that, but it's possible the ACH did
Okay.
directly.
Can you, or
Yep.
somebody check and see if not, you need to give Suzanne a call. Peterson,
Is this for the sign?
plaque. Yep, at the canoe launch. That's why I was contacting Steve today. I wanted to drop it off, but he never responded, so.
I know Steve was contacted by the Conservation Commission, who wanted a representative to be there when you were deciding on plaque location or site location, I forget which it was.
As far as my recollection, the steps that go down to the water, it's on the right-hand side, but it's gonna be facing the bridge. Because we're not allowed to go on the left-hand side, because Dawn and the Conservation Commission will yell at us. Because that's where all the invasives are, and they're working on getting rid of them.
I got the feeling that someone wanted to be there just to make sure that their wishes were met, but
That's fine, but Steve knows where it's supposed to go, so, yeah, but, okay, thanks. Anything else?
no.
Okay. Consent agenda, I move to accept the consent agenda as presented unless somebody has something they want to pull.
No.
No, do I have a second?
Sorry.
Any discussion? No, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
I have one thing that I've added to the signature pages here, and this is making the new town clerk our motor vehicle agent. It requires signatures from the board. She brought that to us this afternoon and asked if we could include it.
little stickies.
There's a lot of little stickies.
Yeah, Denise goes berserk with these things.
She must own stock of a little stickies.
I think so. I think she even steals them when she goes to conferences and stuff.
Oh, the sticky road.
Any success with the door?
Not yet. And just for,
Is he not responding, or did you say?
I know they came out and looked at it and are working on a quote, but we haven't seen the quote yet. And Steve and I are pretty much of the mind that unless there's something, obviously wrong with the quote, that we'll move ahead, because they were the only ones who thought they could actually do the work in the next couple of weeks as opposed to by fall.
They seem to be very busy, at least when we had them do stuff last fall, spring, summer, fall.
I would mention too that as of this morning, one half of the town office heating and cooling unit has failed completely, so we have a contractor coming back out. It's at a good time because we don't really need the heat, but
Yeah, what is that for?
Is there a page for the exception?
Yeah, I probably just left it out. In here,
do you have it, or is it in there? We've got some more
Oh,
pages
yeah.
still going down, so.
Maybe we need an auto pen.
I don't know, I believe there's a state RSA for these things that say requires a signature, because I remember trying to get a stamp.
A stamp?
When
Yeah.
I was on the board in another town and was told that was illegal.
Any old business? New business, town office building. I don't know if the board's pleasure is to pursue this, let it sit, but I thought I'd bring up this topic and see if we want to explore doing this again.
One item that I would throw out to the board, and you're probably aware, but Jim at S&J is right now in the process of breaking out each of the buildings and parcels on site at the entire S&J parcel there. I think it's quite likely that there would be the opportunity to purchase the existing office building if that was something the board was interested in, as opposed to.
Considering what we know about the maintenance of the internal systems, I'm not sure if we want to get into that particular situation, but where the property values are these days, he's probably gonna want $1 million plus for it. So,
I would suspect in some preliminary conversations, I think you might be looking at somewhere between $800 to
yeah.
$1 million.
But I thought I'd bring up this subject. We've tried this numerous times. The feedback we get is one gentleman didn't like the siding, so he voted against it. So we get into these different things. So, tax rate's been going up, so people are not gonna be necessarily inclined to spend tons of money, but at some point, we're gonna have to move out of that building, I think. So I'd rather do it in a measured process than, oh my God, our lease is up. We got 18 months or whatever it is to find a new place to go. So I don't know what the board's thought. If you are interested, if you're not interested, we can table it.
Well, I think of this year, we probably should table it for at least 1 year. I think we need to give everybody a break, let all the dust settle. I want to move forward, probably not this year, but next year, taking a tack on it again. I don't think I want to have our town hall, even though it's a nice place right now. I think we need a place of our own that we're not leasing or paying rent on at this point. And even though S&J's been very good to us and everything else, it's a lot of activity there. There's a lot of trucks moving, a lot of cars going back and forth. So I'd like to take a crack at it something. But right now, I just feel maybe give it a breather space, because everybody worked so hard last time. And maybe that'll, I know at this point here, I don't know if the Oyster River School District budget gets a little bit less the year afterwards, who knows at this point? But I think everybody a breather, but I don't want to let it go. So maybe the board itself can talk within itself, a little bit of planning, but not going public at this time.
Yeah, I think the school budget is going to play into that schedule. They're clearly, one of the reasons it was up this year is because of well over $500,000 in architectural fees for planned additions that I believe they're going to ask for next year. Which should.
The other thing that's gonna run against us is, just based on the estimates that I did, which is just my estimates, the tax rate for the town is gonna go up probably 9–10%, including everything. So you're gonna have people that are, hell no, I won't vote for this because it's too darn expensive. So I don't know, there's never a good time, but at some point we have to do something. We're in the third year of our second term, I think. It's the sixth year, basically, aren't we? Or we're in the seventh?
You moved in early 2021. And I believe we had an initial 5-year term and then the ability to renew for
Three-year terms, I thought. Because it was total of 9 years in total.
It was last year, I think we went to the second tier.
Okay. So we're in 4 or 5? Probably 5.
More than 5.
Because we pay $52.50, because that's the second
Yes.
tier.
Yep, that was up from the $5,000.
Yes. So, all right. So put this on agenda for the March 2026 first session. Again, I think one of the things, the other thing I heard was the last minute cost estimate that was given at the 11th hour. People were very skeptical. It sounded, I was told it was like bait and switch.
Yeah,
Give us a number and then you just raised it. And so it's like, we can't have that again. That doesn't-
No, I know people told me they were upset, and I was extremely upset to sit down with the
Yes.
contractor and say, no, I couldn't build it for that number.
Yeah, so
That was a little difficult, isn't it?
that was not good, so. All right. Anything else, new business?
No, and if you could make a motion to go into non-public under A and L.
Okay. So I move to enter a non-public session, New Hampshire RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, sections A and L. Do I have a second? Dave seconded. Roll call vote. David Benson? Don LaCourse?
Yes.
Scott Bugby, yes. Motion passes. You stuck in pillow. In my chair. Oh, chair.
Scary.
Yeah, I had about 3 more years left in my 401.